And it's time for our first Christmas Kids broadcast of 2018, and live from Lawnwood. Greg and Carol Wyatt.
Zoom.
And George Cole. Yes.
Very good. Day one, the Christmas Kids Tour 2018.
Do you believe it? Yes, we're back.
You know, Carol, it kicked in Friday. Friday when I got off the air, I'm like, wait a minute. We start the Christmas Kids Tour on Monday.
And we always start off at Lawnwood Regional Medical Center because the long history of the volunteers, not only in the auxiliary here, who also were volunteers with the Christmas Kids.
And from what I can remember too, Carol, we always start off with the Fort Pierce Westwood Concert Choir. It seems like it always falls somewhere around Veterans Day. And if I can remember, in fact, we've got some. We're gonna hear some great a cappella starting this out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the Fort Pierce Westwood Concert Choir under the direction of Mr. Mealy.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. With liberty and justice for all. For all. For all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? For the land of the free, and the home of the brave.
Mercy. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Mr. Mealy, have you guys opened up for like the Dolphins or any NBA events or doing the national? Okay, we'll work on that for this season, okay? Great stuff there, man. As always, the Westwood Concert Choir with all those great harmonies. I think those sopranos broke some glass. I heard some glass in the back there breaking as we were.
The sound
Whoa,
was amazing.
beautiful stuff there.
Everybody in their dark red Westwood shirts
And you know, too,
everybody
Carol,
ready.
today there was no school today. So
Oh.
these guys could have stayed home and stayed in the bed and all that good stuff, but no, they're here.
Well, thank you.
There was no
The
school
Christmas
bus that brought them
kids.
here. They came here on their own. So I wonder if they get some extra credit for that.
Well, they should. We'll talk. Sure, we'll talk to the school about that. But we want to welcome also the Chief Medical Officer of Lawnwood Regional Medical Center and Heart Unit, Dr. Michael Bakerman, and welcome to the Christmas Kids.
Well, thank you very much. I don't think there's anything I can say that can top what we just heard that singing. So,
Well, I'll get two-part harmony with you if you want.
it won't be good. So, they were very good, tremendous.
So, Chief Medical Officer, kind of Chief of the Doctors at Lawnwood.
Well, so, it's more of a complex role. I work really with the administration to kind of facilitate what issues, physicians would have on the medical staff and try to resolve those. Always looking at patient safety, quality of care, patient satisfaction, but really it's to work with the medical staff in combination with administration to provide good patient care.
And that has gone very well because you've just won some big awards.
Yeah, the medical staff here, the administration has really been working very, very hard. Lawnwood is really a very fine hospital that has done a lot of really great things, very dedicated to the community, dedicated to patient care and quality. Most recently, we just learned that we got nominated and awarded letter A for Leapfrog, which is a hospital safety grade, combines 28 performance and quality measures together that identifies a hospital as a top performer. And we were fortunate to be granted an A rating in here. Very proud of that accomplishment.
Well, congratulations. I mean, that's a competitive area there.
Absolutely. Hospitals across the country are measured on that. About 2,600 hospitals are put into the pool to look at that measure. And we were fortunate to come out. That quality department here deserves really a good round of applause for the work they did, but really in combination with the doctors and the nurses together, they did a great job to get that award.
We want to welcome as well. We'll come back because we have a new procedure we want to talk with Dr. Bakerman about. But let's welcome Eric Goldman in, the CEO of Lawnwood Regional Medical Center and Heart Unit.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate getting an opportunity to be a part of the program today and talk a little bit about Lawnwood. Lawnwood's had a great history here in Fort Pierce, but really in the entire Treasure Coast community, as we serve as the regional referral center for so many different services, whether it be our trauma program, our level 3 NICU, our open heart program, our comprehensive stroke program, the only pediatric intensive care unit. The list can just go on and on and on. And we're really here as a resource to the community to be able to be that central point of health and providing optimal health care to the people in the Treasure Coast. And so we feel very honored to be a part of this today and have the choir here with us. And we thank you very much for giving us this opportunity.
Well, certainly thank you for hosting the Christmas Kids. We've always kicked off our programs here, and certainly thank you for that. Some of the things you were mentioning are relatively new. The pediatric intensive care is a recent addition, and the neonatal intensive care, I think. Yes,
both programs have probably been around for several years now, but we've really felt like there was, a huge missing piece for kids in the Treasure Coast. It's a considerable investment, but how do we not invest in our future? From children with congenital abnormalities to even relatively easy things to be able to handle. People need a safe environment, and it's a shame that for so many years children needed to travel up to Orlando or down to West Palm Beach to receive those needed specialty services. And so we saw that void, and we needed to be able to fill it. And we've been able to recruit top-notch physicians to be able to come in here. Even little things. Oftentimes, children have trouble if they need imaging studies, et cetera, that need to be sedated in order to be able to hold still long enough to be able to do the procedures. We have the ability and the specialty trained people to be able to do that. From the neonatal care side of things, we're the only level 3 NICU in the entire Treasure Coast area. The nearest ones, again, are West Palm Beach and in Orlando. And so, the sickest of the sick babies can come here and receive optimal care. We've got our neonatologist in here 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, all very highly trained to be able to take care of any of the needs of any of those children. So any high-risk deliveries, from my perspective in the Treasure Coast, really should come here to be able to make sure that they receive the most optimal care.
Dr. Bakerman, we talked to you about the Leapfrog Award. There's a Health Grades Award as well. There are different categories that did very well in.
Yep, sure. We compete very well across the spectrum for inpatient services. So we recently were recognized by Health Grade named among the top 5% in the nation for patient safety in 2018, specifically calling out our hip fracture treatment, vaginal delivery, C-section delivery, and hysterectomy. So again, as we look across the continuum of care, taking care of sick children, sick neonates, looking at hip and joint replacement, women in health care, and then we do a lot of work with our aggressive cardiac services, our comprehensive stroke services, and we continue to look at interventions where we can.
Okay, and if you both have a moment to stay with us. We wanted to hear Westwood High School chorus again.
Please.
And okay, and we'll be back to hear more.
No, I don't. Mr. Mealy, are you set? You're all set there. I know you were tuning and adding some new equipment to the mix here. We want to make sure you're all set there. And while he gets ready, Carol, what I wanted to ask you was about the community services, and I know they've already started, and they've got several families, I should say more than several families already lined and set up to receive toys this year.
Well, yes, for people wondering, if you haven't heard the Christmas Kids show before, it's a charity that began back in 1946 in St. Lucie County and started out to help one little girl at Christmas and then expanded to now where community services registers 1,000 children. And as of Friday, they had 456 already signed up just from last week. So we're halfway there almost. And then we will buy 3 new toys each. And
checks
we
are
have
coming in even as we speak.
Long-time Christmas Kids board member, Don Macklem, formerly of the county, and now kind of, he is retired, but he and his wife, Barbara, put together the Christmas Kids workshop and Christmas Kids toy warehouse. And certainly thank you for all that you've been doing over the years.
Try hard.
Well, certainly. Certainly thank you. And I know you worked hard to bring this in. So thank you.
So now, Carol, where must one, if someone wants to get involved as far as getting their kids on the list, how does that work?
They call Community Services, and that is St. Lucie County Community Services. It is 437 North 7th Street in Fort Pierce, or if you want more information, call them 462-1777. Now, they do ask that you have proof that you live in St. Lucie County. You do have to have proof that they are your children, so birth certificates, and proof of income. I mean, this is for people who need the help. But certainly you take all that to Community Services, and I would do it this coming week.
Yeah.
They are closed today because it's Veterans Day, but they'll open tomorrow morning, and they're halfway to our
1,000. Well, as you
1,000.
mentioned, 400 already in 1 week, so I can imagine, how quickly that would. All right, very good, Carol. I think we're all set now for some more great music and some great harmonies from the Fort Pierce Westwood Concert Choir. Let's hear some more.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, and the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.
No, they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA. For there's pride in every American heart, and it's time to stand and say, yes, it's time to stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land.
That's powerful. Fort Pierce Westwood Concert Choir. Mr. Mealy, come on over. That's some great stuff. And an hour tribute to Veterans Day. Great job there, man. Every year we talk about this because I'm very proud of it, and as you are, and of course your students are. Disney has a program. What is it, like some sort of like a Star Search thing? Talk about that.
It is there's the Candlelight processional. It's an audition process where choirs around the country send in videotapes. There's music that Disney sends out that everyone must sing, and videotape is sent it back to Disney. They have a panel of judges who view the videotapes. And you're chosen based on your musicality and things like that. There's a point system, and it's open to colleges and church choirs and high school choirs. So it's not just high school. So it's a big honor, first of all, because it's Disney. And so we get to perform with the Disney Orchestra and all of that, the fanfare of Disney. So it's wonderful. And once again, we've been chosen.
Now, how many years running?
You know, somebody asked me, from the school board asked me that, and I've kind of come up with, out of the 20 years that I've kind of been doing this, it has been like 17 that I can remember. Yes.
That's quite an achievement. When do you guys leave?
December 6th.
Okay.
So we do there December 6th and 7th.
People are wanting more after our broadcast every year because they're like, wow, I got to hear these guys sing. We have not missed any concert, the holiday concert.
No, we have not come up with a concert date yet. So that's we're working on that. We should know that this week, as a matter of fact. So our next performance with you, we'll have that date for you.
All right. Look forward to hearing more. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
Great job, as always.
Thanks,
Mr. Mealy, Director.
Certainly, thank you. And we will hear more from Westwood Concert Choir in a moment. But let's return to our host, Lawnwood Regional Medical Center and Heart Unit. And certainly Eric Goldman, the CEO of Lawnwood. You have some things that you're expanding to now. I know the Christmas kids have been coming here for so long. You know, the Heart Unit was new, the Trauma Center was new, emergency expansion was new, and now taking emergency rooms even farther.
Further and further out to the community, as well as expand our services. And one of the endeavors that we're very excited about is we don't just reach folks here in Fort Pierce, but much further than that. And we're in the process of opening a freestanding emergency room in Vero Beach, southern Vero Beach, right on US 1, just north of Oslo Road. We've begun the demolition of the existing site there, and we are very hopeful to be receiving permits very soon on that, with an anticipated opening date of sometime towards Memorial Day. So we're very excited about that. In addition to that, one of the things that's been sorely missing from the healthcare perspective in the Treasure Coast has been behavioral health services. And while we have a large mental health facility that's a part of the hospital, the biggest missing piece in there has been adolescent medicine help there. And so we are in the process of expanding the 24 beds we have to add an additional 12 that are just dedicated to adolescents and being able to care for those children here in this community. Right now, there's only, if I'm not mistaken, only 5 beds in the entire St. Lucie County for those children. And so they have to go down to West Palm Beach as the nearest facility outside of those 5 beds. And so this is an area where we feel, whether it's the things that we hear on TV, the school shootings, the suicides, et cetera, we need to be doing a lot more as a community, as a nation, to ensure that the youth in our community who do have problems and do have struggles that may be outside of their ability to be able to fix, have access to the greatest health care possible. So we're looking at sometime around June for that area to be able to open as well too. Once we have a firm date, we'll certainly let everybody know. Last but not least, in addition to a variety of other smaller projects we're working on in the hospital, we're adding another cath lab, so it'll be our 4th cath lab. But the interesting part about this is that it won't just be for doing heart caths. That'll be we'll be able to begin doing electrophysiology procedures. And so if you kind of think about a cath lab in its simplest terms, the cardiologists in the cath lab take care of the plumbing so to speak, in the human body. Electrophysiologists take care of the electrical activity that happens within the heart. So sometimes when people have an arrhythmia or certain problems such as that, where the heart isn't beating properly, in an electrophysiology lab, you have the opportunity to minimally invasive just go through a small puncture in the groin, be able to feed a wire all the way up to the heart, and be actually able to ablate or burn a small piece of the heart that gets your heart working properly again. And so I think this is going to be an amazing opportunity for us. They're just finishing up construction now and should be starting to install the lab within the next month. And we're looking to, just after the first of the year, begin offering those services as well, too. So we're very excited about all the expansion. And then on the horizon, we have larger projects, adding additional beds, additional ORs, that we're in the funding process for that as well.
Okay, and just briefly, I'm sorry we're kind of at the end of the show, but Dr. Bakerman, there also is a new procedure for reducing stroke risk that I know you're
I think actually Mr. Goldman did a great job explaining the cath lab for a non-cardiologist.
He did.
He did a great job for that.
Wow.
And before I get into that procedure, I would say, in recognition of the choir, they did a great job. But today is really a day about service, recognition, and gratitude. So for all the veterans out there, past and current, we all thank them for their service. In the cath lab, one of the new special procedures that we have just started doing is called the left atrial appendage occlusion device. And so patients with an arrhythmia called atrial fibrillation are at much higher risk for stroke. Usually we treat them with anticoagulation, Coumadin. In some patients, they just can't take that, and we really didn't have good options for that. Now with this left atrial appendage closure device, where that's the source of most of the strokes come from, we're able to mitigate that risk for them. Non-invasive procedure for the most part. It's like a catheterization. They come in one day, go home the next day, and it's been a great advance. We're able to do the first two devices last week in the Treasure Coast, and we look forward to continued success for our patients with that.
Well, certainly, and thank you for explaining that, Dr. Bakerman and Mr. Goldman. We want to mention also you have a Let It Snow event on, I believe it's December 1st, and you're going to have snow and photos with Santa, and it'll be a Saturday morning, 9 to 12.
Wait a minute, Carol. Snow in Florida. What are you talking about?
Snow at Lawnwood Regional Medical Center, yes, on the morning of December 1st.
Very cool.
And you need to call and sign up. There's an 800 number. 800-382-3522.
Well, my understanding is you could just go back up to Boston sometime in the next 6 weeks.
Right.
And you could just get as much snow as you want.
But no cookies, right? So we want to thank you certainly for hosting the Christmas Kids. And if you want to sign up children, you can get in touch with St. Lucie County Community Services. They're on North 2nd Street and 462-1777.
And tomorrow, a brand new group to our Christmas Kids tour, the Renaissance Charter Group, if I'm not mistaken, will be joining us and providing some entertainment for us
at Seacoast Bank.
And as if we're ready, we could have a final song from the Westwood High School Chorus. And Carol, you didn't do your closing.
Well, and I need to thank the auxiliary at Lawnwood, the auxiliary, and of course Pat Dunn for all that you do to contribute to the Christmas Kids during the year. So we will keep the Christmas Kids in your heart. We will see you tomorrow.
There you go. It's not official till you say that. You know that.
We can be together now and forever. I love you.